So selling life insurance completely changed my life. My first year as a brand new life insurance agent, I sold over $500,000 of life insurance on my own pen. To fast forwarding to now, my agency did nearly $14 million in sales. And here's the proof. And it's because of one thing. We learned and I learned how to read a script. And in this video, instead of me telling you how to learn how to sell life insurance, I'm going to actually show you. I'm going to break down a live call. I had a guy call in looking for life insurance, and I'm going to go through and give you guys the winning script step by step by step and break down and share with you what I've learned in the last 4 years as a life insurance agent, condense that into a script, and most importantly, teach you how to sell life insurance. And my promise for you today is that if you watch this video all the way to the end, you'll be better than most life insurance agents, and you'll get training that will actually help you win as a life insurance agent. So let's go ahead and let's jump into the real good stuff, the live sales call, and let's do this together. So you can see here, we're going to pull it up. Mr. Edward called in. It was one day before Thanksgiving, so you're going to see by the intro why I started it off this way. But most importantly, we're going to jump right into the intro. Whether if you're getting an inbound call or you're calling out, the goal of the first 30 seconds of the phone call is to lower their guard. And in this, I'm going to share with you how I use what's called a pattern interrupt to do that. So let's go ahead and let's play the call.
Howdy, Edward.
Yes, sir.
What's cracking, my man?
Oh, nothing much. How you doing?
I'm just soaking that turkey for tomorrow, just getting that turkey nice and ready. How about you?
Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe
looking forward to that.
I believe we were trying to help you. You put down that Eric Rodriguez was going to be your beneficiary.
Right.
Okay, Paul. So intro. The goal of the intro is to lower their guard and get to the meat, right? So I just said, hey, I'm just soaking that turkey because inbound call. No one's going to start the phone call like that, but I'm going to lower their guard. He's like, oh, this guy sounds like a human. He doesn't sound like a sales guy. And then I go right into confirming the lead card information. So again, outbound or inbound, you want to go ahead and greet them and then say, hey, Miss Betty or Mr. Edward, I'm seeing here that you put down that your age was 50, or you put down that your son was your beneficiary. So whatever it is, always start with the intro, confirming the information, because you want to help them understand that you have their information and they filled out this card. Then we're going to go into confirming more information here.
And you put down here that you are in Texas. Is that right for you, boss man?
Okay, so we're confirming that he's in Texas.
That's right.
Would you look at that? Good. Well, and kind of what we do here, you put down that you were diagnosed after 50. Just find like the most affordable rate statewide. For these special programs. To see how I can best help you, though, Edward, are you a smoker or anything like that?
Okay, so we're going to pause here. We're jumping into the medical side of things. So due to HIPAA compliance, I cannot play this, but I want to explain what happens here. So intro happens first 30 seconds. It shows here you listed your daughter as your beneficiary, and it shows here that you're living in the state of Texas. Is that correct, Mr. Edward? He says yes. So you guys are both on the same page. You understand why you're on the phone in the first 30 to 60 seconds. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to preface the rest of the call. What I tell him is like, hey, Mr. Edward, what we do is work with over 20 plus companies here in the state. And my job is to help you find the lowest plan that is going to suit you and be best for you and your needs. Okay. So basically he's going to know that I'm a broker, that I'm shopping around all these different companies to find him the lowest rate. Because when you're selling final expense life insurance to people on a fixed income, guess what they care about? I'll lean in a little bit. They care about the price. Okay. So you got to make sure you always are hinting lowest price, because they are on fixed incomes. Now, I can't walk you through this word for word, and his reactions, but what I'm asking for is any heart attack, strokes, cancers, any diabetes, any elevated sugars, any neuropathy, any COPD, what else do I have here? I have any smoking, any other medical concerns, and I always like to get, is there any other medications or hospitalizations that I missed? This is really important. So why is this important? The medical section, what I'm doing now is when I'm asking him medical questions, I'm also using a software called Insurance Toolkits. It's not a promotion. I don't use them. I've been using them for the last 4 years. But it's a platform where when they tell you, oh yeah, I had a heart attack, you can go into that software and put in heart attack, and then it's going to go ahead and it's going to help do the carrier underwriting for you, so it can help you find the best company for their health condition. So Meanwhile, I'm reading the script, but I'm also looking at insurance toolkits. So when they say, yes, I'm a smoker, I go to my insurance toolkits and I put smoker. And then I said, any heart attack, strokes, or cancer? He says heart, or if he says heart attacks, I put, okay, I go to my toolkits and put heart attack. So this is what you're going to do. This is called the underwriting section. Now, why is this important? Because you're finding the value in what product you're going to go with. And then secondly, when you're in the underwriting section, you do not want to leave the underwriting section until you know what company they're going to get approved from and typically have the most value, which is something that has like day one coverage. Always, always, always try to sell a policy that's going to start immediately, that's not going to have a 2-year waiting period. Why is that? Because it's easier to sell and it's typically going to be a lower price. So we did all the medical underwriting. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually share with him some of my personal information. So I then go in and I'm going to share with him that I'm going to give him my customer service number. So I'm going to say, write down my information. I give him my customer service number. Then it's time to share with him my national producer number. This is me verifying my credentials. So the first part was intro. The second part was medical underwriting. The third part is credibility. You want them to trust you, to have your information, and you want them to be writing this down on a piece of paper. So here's how it sounds.
All right.
Also, I do have to share with you my NPN number, which is my national producer number. This state here does require in Texas that I give this to you. So I'll share with you that I'm licensed, I've been through all the background checks, and that I have the credentials to be speaking with you upon this today. That number is 1950.
All right, now hang on. What's it?
Yeah, this is my NPN number.
Yes, I know, but what is the number? I didn't catch that.
1950.
All right.
4175.
Okay.
All right.
And notice my pace. I actually just saw an article on how to improve your sales rate. It's to slow down and really articulate your words if you want to get older people to understand you. And I'm not just running through it. I really want to slow down and really be bold with my voice so he can hear me and write this down. Now, this is a good buying sign. Since he's writing this down, I'm like, this guy is serious. A lot of times clients will be like, just send me in a text message, or I'm not available to write that down. That's a buying red flag, because if someone's serious, you want them seated, writing this stuff down, because you want to know that they're, going to potentially move forward with this. And most importantly, if you can get them to move to go get a pen, you can also get them to move with your words to get their checkbook. So it's also a test. You really want to say, they say like, I'm not available to grab a pen and paper. Well, Miss Betty, go ahead and grab that for me. And you just be quiet, and they do it. Good sign. Go back to the call. Now we're going to go into discovery now that he has all my information. We're going to go what we call our discovery. This is the question asking framework. This is where you are going to ask questions. They're going to give you answers, and really you're going to understand what the problem is, why they need it, who would be impacted, and what is like really the consequence. Okay. And this is where we're going to also just discover the value of the call. Okay. Now you're going to listen to how I ask questions. This is a big mistake. A lot of agents don't ask questions the right way. I'm going to teach you my tonality and the questions that I ask. Let's go into the call.
Just want to make sure you know I am. You can look me up. Heck, if you need to figure out where I live, that will give that to you too. But kind of enough about me here. Kind of fill me in though for you, Edward, just so I'm on the same page. What had you motivated to start looking around for some life insurance now?
Pause. So what had you motivated, pause, to start looking around for some life insurance now? So this is important in your tonality. Now, I'm extending the now up vertically, like now. My eyes are coming together because I'm asking question one with curious tone. If I want him to share and open up, I'm going to be curious. My head also comes to the side here, and this is what you need to do when you're asking probing questions. Be curious. Okay. So what had you motivated to start looking around for some life insurance now? Okay. Now he's going to give me an answer. Now, what I'm going to teach you guys here and why this is really, really important is a concept called mirroring. So every time Mr. Edward gives me something, I'm going to repeat back to him what he tells me, and then I'm going to ask another question that moves the ball forward. I'm going to share with you what that means.
Well, I don't have any life insurance right now, and I just figured I needed something. I've always been interested in getting it, and then I saw the ad. Well, the ad is what got me interested, to be honest with you. You had an ad on TV.
Yeah, on TV. Oh, I got you. So it sounds like you you don't really have any, and you just kind of saw it on the TV, and you're just kind of interested. Now, just so I'm on the same page with you.
Okay, so you see, I'm going to go right. No, he said his response was, I don't know. I just saw this ad. I don't have any, and I saw this ad on TV, so I figured I don't have any. Remember, he said that. What I do is I pick it. Oh, I gotcha. So it sounds like you don't have any life insurance, and you saw this ad on TV. And now, just curious, so I'm on the same page. You're going to see what is the goal of the life insurance. So I literally just am repeating back to him what he tells me, and then I'm asking the next question to try to get the goal of the insurance. So question one is that I have to understand what the need is. And currently in this call, guys, do you think this person has a clear need for buying life insurance? The answer is no. Okay. He's like, I don't know. I just saw it on the ad. I just saw it on TV, or I just saw it on Facebook. That is not a clear goal. So then it is your job as the agent to ask one more deeper probing question to get them to admit what they want, okay? Because they don't have a need or a goal, then we can't move on into the script. So we're really sitting in this, asking a second probing question to see if we get the clear goal. Let's see what he says here.
What is the goal of this life insurance? Like, what do you specifically want this policy to make sure gets taken care of?
Just to leave something for my son. I've got a little savings, so I'm okay with my burial expenses, but I would like to have something for him if I pass.
Okay. So do we now have a clear goal? So he didn't just see the ad and want to call in. I had to figure it out. So he just said, oh, well, actually I called in because I want to leave a little something behind to my son. I actually have money in savings. I want to leave a little gift behind to him. So this is an in-depth analysis of the call. So I want to give you guys this really good stuff. There's about 8 different value propositions, and you can, I'll link the YouTube video to this other call that I did that breaks down the value prop and how to go through the scripts. But there's people that are going to call in because they're looking to just cover their burial expenses. That's not him. There's people that are calling in because they want to get out of a 2-year waiting period. That's not him. There are people that want to find a cheaper policy. That's not him. There are people that want to go ahead and, they don't worry about their burial expenses, but they want to leave a little I love you gift to their son. And that is Mr. Edward. So my whole discovery, my next questions are all around that value proposition. If I start talking about the burial and who's going to be responsible for the burial and how is he going to pay for the burial, it's not going to make sense for them. That's why your script and your understanding of the sales process has to be dynamic. Okay. One script does not solve all these different 8 solutions. In this case, if I was trying to sell this guy a burial life insurance policy, he's going to say, I don't want to talk to you. I don't need burial life insurance. He's going to say, I'm just trying to leave a little I love you gift to my son. And that is why this call is very, very hard, because it's not like a painful sale. Like if I die, my son's going to have to sell all his assets to pay for my burial. No, it's actually just an emotional, like, does this guy actually need life insurance? Yeah, I guess he could, right? But he doesn't really nothing bad is going to happen if he doesn't, because he already has money in the bank. This is all based off of emotion and asking really good questions, which I'm going to teach you here in the next call. So let's see how I continue on.
Josh, so it sounds like you want to make sure, I see. So burial's kind of taken care of. You got the savings, good on you. And then ultimately you just want to leave a little gift to your son. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Cool. I just repeated back to him what he told me, mirroring.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Now, just so we can understand too on how much you want to leave, are you planning for a formal burial or are you going the cremation route? Kind of random.
I'm thinking cremation.
Okay, so I asked him why cremation or burial, because he says he has enough money saved for burial, but let's say if he's going burial for 10 to 15,000, I would have then asked him do you have 10 to 15,000 in your bank account? Because if he says no, then I can add that as a layer of a problem. But since he's going cremation, which is really, really affordable, you're going to see he doesn't want all the fancy stuff. He really doesn't want a burial policy.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Either way, one way or the other. I'm not a very sentimental person, so I don't know about, having a grave and a tombstone and all of that.
Right. You sound like a straightforward type of guy. You just want to have something simple and you just want to leave something behind to your son. Now,
so I labeled him here. Okay. So he says, I'm not a very sentimental type of guy. I don't really want to do all that extra stuff. So when someone says that, or you want to label them with their emotion. Okay. Cause then I'm speaking his language. If someone's like, yeah, I just like to get down to business. I'm just, everyone that I'm working with, they don't move fast enough. Well, it sounds like Mr. Edward, that you're just a straight shooter. You just like to get down to business. Is that what I'm hearing? They're going to say yes. You feel like they're going to feel like you're speaking their language. So back to the call here.
I guess why, just interesting, because a lot of people kind of like overlook this. Why is that so important for you to leave something extra behind to your son?
Uh, I just figured there ought to be something, you know. I mean, why not?
Okay. So there's not a lot of emotion here. He just told me he's not a very emotional guy. So I'm trying to figure out, we have the clear goal, which is I want to leave a gift to my son. Then I have to really figure out like why. Why does he want to do this? Why is this important to him? How is that going to make him feel? Because he's like, well, why not? Right? In that case, do I have a really clear understanding of this guy's going to want to buy? Right now in the call, I don't think he's been looking around, like, why not leave the money? He's very like cold, right? He's not like someone I think is going to be a strong buyer. So what I need to do is I am not going to pitch someone until I feel confident they are going to say yes. You never ask the girl to marry you until you're confident she's going to say yes when you get down on one knee. Same thing here, right? If this guy's not opening up, I'm not going to continue going down the call. I got to break him down. I got to ask more questions. And how do you do that is you just probe deeper. So here's how I took this guy who had no idea, probably didn't want to buy life insurance, but I got him to want to do it. Cheers. Let's keep rocking.
Yeah, ought to be something. Why not? Did someone do that for you or something? Because this is a lot of people don't have that thoughtfulness like you do. So did something happen recently that makes you think about this?
No, no. I mean, my parents are both gone, and
Okay.
they didn't leave anything for us. I come from a pretty large family, and they
Okay.
didn't leave anything for us. I have only one son, so I'd like to leave something for him.
Okay. So you just want to make sure, and I guess so I can understand you're going to give him some money just as like I love you gift. What do you think he could? Interesting. What do you think he would use that money for?
So do you see how I'm asking these deeper probing questions? And underneath that, if you just rewind, what do you think he'd use that for? My curiosity allows me to keep his guard at ease so I can ask these additional questions. So since he thinks I'm very curious about his situation, he's willing to share more information. And he's a straight shooter. He doesn't like doing this. You can tell if you ask this without the right tonality, he'd be very uncomfortable and be like, man, just get to the point. Right? That's the type of guy he is. But I'm like, oh, wow, interesting. I'm very engaged. I'm like, no way. I'm acting very, very interested in him and very curious when I ask those questions, which buys me time to ask more deeper questions. Because right now he's warming up to potentially buy, but I'm still not feeling it.
I don't know. Buy a car, pay off some bills. I don't know.
Oh, sweet. So that'll help him pay off some car, maybe some bills, and just you just want to make sure as a father you left him in a good spot. Maybe leave him some extra. That really it.
Right.
Okay, simple enough. Wow. Okay, and it sounds like this is pretty important to you. You said you've been kind of thinking about doing this. Have you been looking around for something like this for a while now, or is it something that you realize you just kind of need?
Okay, so we went through question one was, what is the goal of the life insurance? He says, I want to leave an extra I love you gift to my son. Secondly, we asked him, like, why does he want to do that? Which is, I'm not worried about burial. I want to leave some money behind to my son because I want to make sure he can use it for a car to pay off things and just leave him some money because his parents died and they didn't do that for him. He wants to do that for his only son. So I have a little bit of an understanding why he wants to do it as well. Now, the third question is we got to figure out why haven't they moved forward? Okay. So a lot of people will continue to search and search and search for months and months and months, but you have to figure out like, why haven't you put the solution in place yet? Okay. So this is what we're trying to figure out. So the question three is, I guess kind of fill me in. Have you been looking around for something like this for a while now, or is it something that you realize you kind of need? So we got to figure out what blockers came in his way so we can figure out why he hasn't done it so we can solve for that so hopefully he can do it today. Okay, so sales is all about changing people's behavior. So you got to understand what behavior prevented him from moving forward. And I got to try to get him to get out of his old behavior patterns to do a new behavior to get a different result. That is sales. Okay, but real quick sidebar, if you want like leads that are this good where people are calling you from advertisements and you want to work with me directly and get my training and get the scripts and get trained and just have the best leads, have the best systems, and just be part of the best sales culture in the insurance industry, my team is hiring at Legacy Family Life. We are looking for winners. So if you're a winner and you want to work really hard, I'm hiring in the description below. Click the description, apply, hit me up. And also, I have a free script in my school community below. If you want the scripts, I have them in my free community below. Back to the video.
No, like I said, I saw your advertisement on TV, and so I took the number down, said, yeah, I'd like to call and find out what the deal is.
Sure. Absolutely. I guess a lot of people kind of search and stop. Why do you feel like now would be like? Because a lot of people just keep looking and keep looking. Why do you feel like now would be like the right time to put something like this in place for your son?
Okay, so I know this guy's a looky-loo. I don't know. I've been just kind of looking on TV. Those guys are non-committal. You want them to figure out why they want to move forward now. So a great question is like, why now? Why now put a solution in place?
Well, certainly not later,
Yeah.
So, I,
Yeah.
why not? It makes sense.
Yeah. Would you feel like having something like this would kind of help you sleep better at night or something, or?
Sure. Well, yeah, I guess okay. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, interesting. Cool. Well, it sounds like you really value it. Have you gotten quotes before? Has it been too expensive, or have you even kind of looked down that avenue before?
No, I haven't gotten any quotes.
I'm just figuring out why hasn't he moved forward? Like this guy doesn't sound like he wants to buy. Like why haven't he put a solution in place?
I get
Okay.
mailers. Junk mail from time to time, and
Yeah.
I never really gave it much thought, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Gotcha. So you just finally just figured.
See those clues underneath that? Like I just haven't given it much thought. So guess what I'm thinking he's going to do to this? When I give him the options, he's just going to be like, I don't know. I'm just going to keep looking because he's not committing. Like I want to put this in place. There's a lack of urgency.
You haven't given it much thought. You just figured now is probably the right time. Okay. Well, I'm gonna do my best here for you. I guess this is interesting too, because just want to see where you're at. Then I'll give you the quote here because it's popping up. Would you say having like a little something in place, Mr. Edward, would that be, I guess, better than having nothing at all?
Yeah.
Okay. So since he's non-committal, I asked this question. Now, Mr. Edwards, since you don't have any coverage in place, would you say having like a little bit is better than having nothing at all? Because guess what? I'm preparing for an objection. So when you ask questions, you're building what's called ammunition. This ammunition that I'm going to get is preparing for when he says, I just need to think about it, or, I'm going to keep looking around, because that's who I'm labeling him as. His previous behavior indicates to me he's going to give me an objection. So I'm going to ask questions that give me ammunition so that I can use and pull it out later in the call. Because if he told me I need to think about it, I'm like, Mr. Edward, I know that you need to think about it, but remember when you told me earlier that having a little bit is better than little bit is better than having nothing at all? Do you remember when he said that to me? Why do you feel like he said that then? What's kind of going on? And then I could probe based off of his words. So when you're selling, you also want to be an attorney or a lawyer, basically, using those words that they say against them. Cool?
Really?
I'm sorry, what was the question? Maybe I didn't hear you right. What was that?
Yeah, I appreciate it. So would you say having like a little bit of coverage, would that be better than having like nothing at all?
Well, yeah, sure, of course.
Really? Okay. Okay, well, I do work with people who, I don't know if this is you.
No, nothing.
So that's called the zombies question. If I could find you something that fits the budget, that's comfortable for you, would there be anything from holding you back from seeing if we can get you approved? Because I'm trying to figure out what objections. Well, I got to speak to my wife, or, I can't pay for it today, or I'm not committing to anything today. You want to get these objections out of the way here, 12 minutes into the call, before you get down to the numbers. Again, we're trying to do whatever we can to get the objections out of the way before we get them at the end. See, objections, if you get them in the end, is because you're not asking good enough questions and you're not trying to kill them before you get to the close.
Holding me back.
Right on. Well, here's the thing. I looked in. What we're going to be looking at here is going to be whole life insurance. Mr. Edwards, follow along with me.
So we're going to pause here, explain the script. So we had the intro, we had the how we work section, we did the medical underwriting section, then we go into the credential section, we've gone into the discovery section. We've asked, what is the goal? Why do you want this as well? Like, what are you going to use the money for? Third is, what has prevented you from putting a solution in place? He didn't really commit to that. And then I asked some additional questions like, would a little bit be better than having nothing at all? And then I went into the killing the zombies questions. Would there be anything holding you back from seeing we get you approved today? He said no. Now we're actually going into the product. Okay, this is going to be the pitch. So we're going to explain the product, what it does. Then we're going to actually pitch the product, and then we're going to close the product. So let's see how that all goes together here, guys.
Here, let me know if this is exactly what you're looking for. Okay, something where that monthly payment is never going to go up. The coverage amount will never go down, and it's something that will never expire. It's going to be there for you your whole life, but you can go to bed at night knowing that no matter what, your son's going to be taken care of. Is that kind of what you're looking for?
Okay, so here how my volume, my emphasis, and my tone all changed. So it was not like this. Now, what we're going to be looking at is whole life insurance. Now, you let me know if this is exactly what you're looking for. It's something where the monthly payment will never go up, coverage will never go down, and it's something that will never expire. Is that kind of what you're looking for? No, my articulation, my mouth was like probably really. So what we're going to be looking at here is whole life insurance. My hands are like this, Italiano, like that. Whole life insurance. Now you let me know, Mr. Edward, if this is exactly, look at my mouth, exactly what you're looking for. It's something where that monthly payment will never go up. Hand motions will never go up. It'll never go down, and it will be there for the rest of your life, so you can go to bed at night knowing that no matter what, your son, James, will never be burnt. Is that what you're looking for? And then end with curious, like, is that what you're looking for? That is how you keep people engaged. That is how you get people to understand what you are going to pitch to them, right? So you got to keep them engaged with your tone, your hand gestures, and your emphasis. Back to the call.
Well, whole or term, if I can get along in a term, whatever.
Okay, so now we come into like a little bit of a product issue, because he's well into his late 70s, right? And he's talking about term, and due to some of his medical conditions, he's actually uneligible for term. So I want to reset expectations. I only sell whole life here, so I want to set expectations, and I want to make it around what he wants. Okay. So whole life or term. And he's like, okay, well, I want to see if it's whole life or term. So I only sell whole life. So here's how I reset the expectations. Okay. Let me, I can't really explain this call because he talks, but basically what I say is, hey, due to this medical condition, these companies and your age are not going to insure you because of this medical condition when it comes to term, and because of your age. Okay.
Now, with the whole life, I do want to preface, you're going to get, it's going to be there for your whole life, so it's not going to expire. It's going to be there for you until you're well into, hundreds of years old. Okay? Is that what you're looking for?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So here's the deal. I plug in all the information, and it shows here you're eligible for the best option state.
Okay, now we're going really strong into the pitch, okay? And we're going to pitch to the company. You got to have conviction. You got to have heart here. You got to believe in what you're selling. Here's how you do it.
Wide, out of all companies here, and it's with a company. I don't know if you've heard of them before. It's with why my screen's not loading? Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're eligible for the best option statewide out of all 26 carriers, and it's with a carrier called Citizens Life of America. Have you heard of those guys before?
No.
Really? Okay. You probably have, and the reason I say that is because they've been in business since 1969. They are a well-known and established company, and they've been in, they're also backed by the Better Business Bureau with a great rating, okay? Which means that they pay out their claims in 24 to 48 hours. Write that down. Citizens Life of America on that.
Okay, going back to what we talked about earlier in the call, if you can get them to write things down, they're going to commit. They have a higher likely chance of committing. So we're always writing this down, and we're being very clear, and we're also being slow. We're not like rushing through this. We're slowing down. We're breathing. We're making sure he understands all the details.
Paper.
Okay.
Now,
okay, and he always says, okay, that means he's ready. Keep going. I'm in control.
Here's why
I'm the conductor of the train.
This is a really, really important for you. I need you to understand this no matter where you're shopping for life insurance. This is one of the only companies in the whole United States.
So this is a really important, this is bringing value. Okay, so in this part, I can't again explain to you due to his health conditions, but due to his health conditions, this carrier specifically, if he were to look for life insurance, a lot of companies are going to put him in a 2-year waiting period, okay, because he has certain health conditions, which means like, I tell him like, hey, Mr. Edward, if you were to get life insurance, probably with someone else, and they don't have these carriers, they're going to put you in a 2-year waiting period, or they're going to decline you because of these specific health conditions. But this company is going to make sure that you're insured on day one, which means if something happens to you, your family doesn't have to wait 2 years for the return of premium. They get immediate benefit. So here's what I say, and here's how he responds to it.
Tomorrow, your son, he's going to get the full payout. You don't have to live for 2 years for him to see it. Do you see what I mean? How important that is?
Oh yeah, I guess that's nice, but I don't imagine I'm going to be dying in the next 2 years. You know what I mean?
Sure. No, I hear you. And I don't. You sound like a healthy guy. You're not going anywhere, but uh, life happens, and just something. It's really important because a lot of companies are going to make you wait 2 to 3 years, and you just never know. So I like to just stress that because it is important, and it's going to be the most affordable option. Now, they got three options for us here, partner. We can go up, we can go down, we can go sideways. We just got to work to find something that's both comfortable and affordable for you. Okay.
All right.
Okay, so now we're going into the three option close. So we have three options. Now we're going to pitch them. Now, when you're pitching the three options, it's very, very important that you're pitching the options that solve the previous problems. Remember earlier in the call, he was telling me he wants to leave money behind to his son because he's the only son and he wants to make sure his son's taken care of and that his son can use this money to pay for the car. Well, we're going to go ahead and bring that back here when we're pitching these options. We're going to explain how these options are going to solve those problems that he was worried about earlier. Okay. I did kind of screw up the pitch a little bit here, so forgive me, but typically because the prices were so high, we want to start around $80. The first option, about $100 to $120. The second option, and the third option is like the biggest option as like a decoy. But in this option, since his age and his health, it was really expensive. And I could tell this guy had a little bit of money. And I didn't want to like undersell him because if I pitched him like a $5,000 option for $58, he's going to be like, 5,000 is not to me. So I actually started a lot higher. And I think I started on 15,000 for $150. So you're going to see how this all works out, but here's how you pitch the options.
All right, so the first option is what we call the starter program. This is just a little something in place just to make sure that if something does happen to you, you have something there to make sure that your son is taken care of. Now, this is going to be the $15,000 option, okay? With this $15,000 is going to come in a tax-free check. It'll make sure that at the end of the day, if something happens, your son is going to get a check for $15,000 to make sure that you can give him that last I love you gift. This is going to make sure that you can go to bed at night knowing that he's taken care of and he's not stuck paying for anything, and you can leave him this last I love you gift. The first option for the $15,000 of whole life coverage got you at 70 with a occasional pipe smoker. The $15,000 comes out to $153.76 per month. You got that?
Right.
Okay. So every time that I pitch an option, I give him the price. Now I explain what it's going to do, and then I give him the price. Now the $15,000 option is going to be $157 per month. Okay, you got that? I want to make sure that they're still with me. I'm going to give them the price and say, you got that? And then pause. I want to make sure that they're following along in this with me, that they're writing that down. And I'm also using my ears to listen at like, oh, hell no, I ain't doing 150. If they do that, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to keep moving forward. I'm going to go down. I'm actually going to cue my down sell a little bit. So I'm listening to, after I give the price, using my ears to see how are they reacting. He didn't really like squirrel or like, kind of like kick back a little bit. So I'm like, okay, that's not too bad. Let's see how the next options go.
Okay. Now the next option for you here is going to be the $20,000 option. This is probably
most common.
A little bit more than you need, but this is one of the most common programs. The $20,000 option for you is going to make sure that you can leave that last I love you gift to your son, make sure he's squared away, and you can have the life insurance in place forever. That $20,000, if you can get approved, is $205 per month. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So see how I'm doing. Okay, you got that? He said, right. We're moving forward.
And then the last option is, I don't know, there's like an in-between option. Or this is called the minimum option. This minimum option is the $10,000 option, just so that you can go to bed and knowing that you have something for your son. The $10,000 is $102.51 per month. Okay?
Cool. So we give them the three options, and then we're going to go right into the close. So here's how we do it.
Right.
Now, our biggest challenge for you here, Mr. Edward, because hopefully they would even approve you, but you fill me in as a father thinking of your son, leaving him this extra I love you gift. Did you want to go for the $10,000 or the $15,000? What would give you the most peace of mind?
Probably the $15,000.
Okay, so he picks the $15,000. We're going to just verify this. Before we move into the application, it's $156. I don't like chargebacks. I don't want chargebacks. So what you do is then you want to double confirm and triple confirm that the price is going to fit their budget. Okay, there's no sense of getting someone, have unclear expectations, go into the applications, and then they can't afford it, or they don't give you the banking information. So we're making sure that we move into every single application with clear expectations. Okay. And just a sidebar, we're only 16 minutes and 55 seconds into this call, and we're now moving into an application. So the speed, the efficiency, the staying on track is what got me here, right? You have to stay in the lines of the script, and you can't get sidetracked. You can't talk about the grandkids or building this excellent rapport. You are a problem solver, okay?
Gotcha. What makes you say that?
I don't know.
Gotcha. Is that 15,000 to that 153.76? Is that going to be comfortable for you every month?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. So let me kind of is that going to be something that would give you the peace of mind, the 15,000 for $153?
I think so.
Cool. Well, let me explain the process for you. Hopefully they are even able to accept you. But we got to cross our fingers.
So now what I'm going to be doing is explaining the process. So what we're going to be doing, Mr. Edwards, I'm going to go ahead and cross our fingers here. I'm going to take the application on the phone. We'll put your beneficiary information on here, and if they'll ask you a few health questions, and if you're approved, we'll fill out the whole policy, and then we'll pick the date that you want your policy to start. Okay, then we actually move into the application. So just for the video's sake, I am going to want to share with you kind of how this all works. So we go ahead and we do the application, right? So we do the application, we get them approved, and then the last thing that we do is we, he pick the option, we move in the application, we get him approved, we set up his banking account information, and then what we do is the wrap up. So in this call, you're gonna hear a little bit here is just, I don't know if he's gonna be able to play it. So let me just see here. Basically, I'll just break it down. Here's how the call ends. Okay, so what you're gonna do is Mr. Edward is gonna be like, hey, Mr. Edward, what we're gonna do is we're gonna explain how this process works. So just know, congratulations, we've got you fully approved. We always start with, I got some good news and I got some bad news. Which ones do you want first? He would say, let me show you. I'll just let you listen to that part. He's like, I want the good news. All right, let me make sure it's good news here for it. It didn't pop up. So let me explain it. Well, I always end the call like this. Well, Mr. Edward, I got some good news and I got some bad news. Which one do you want first? In this case, he says, well, I'll start with the good news. I said, well, the good news is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, before you have your favorite meal tomorrow, you've been fully approved for this life insurance. So congratulations, Mr. Edward. And he says, well, what's the bad news? I said, the bad news is, unfortunately, you're going to be stuck with me for life. Just note that, Mr. Edward, I'll be checking up on you every 3 to 6 months. I hope you don't mind, Mr. Edward, but I'm going to be kind of pestering you because you're important to me. I want to make sure that you know I'm always here for you. And they're going to say, oh, well, he said, well, I guess that could be worse, right? So this is kind of like a tongue-in-cheek, like little joke, because you want to see like, oh, that's not bad news. You want them to be like, oh, no, I love that. Thank you, right? And then what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to go over all their policy details. So I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, Mr. Edward, just to confirm, we got you approved for the $15,000 for $167 per month. The policy is going to start on this day of the month. We're going to be checking up with you on this day of the month. The payment's going to come out on this day of the month. And we're also going to make sure that the policy comes to you in the mail. Mr. Edward, if that policy does not get in your hand the next 2 to 4 weeks, I want you to pick up the phone and call me because I need to make sure that you get this policy in your hands. That's very important to me, okay? And I ask him, hey, Mr. Edward, is there any other questions before we depart? And he's like, yeah, he asked a few more questions. We broke that down and we left the phone call with a clear expectations, a clear understanding of why he bought the life insurance, a clear understanding of what's going to happen after the sale, and a clear handoff. Now, he's good. He's gotten taken care of. But that is the full breakdown of my call, guys. So I hope you guys love these calls. If you want more calls like this where I break down my sales calls with depth and breaking them down of why I do what I do, please comment below. And if I get over 100 likes on this video, I will make sure I do another one for next week. Cool. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thanks for tuning in to the channel. If you have not yet subscribed to, just randomly, go ahead and just hit the subscribe button. It's just something that I want to hit for the January 2026 is that you've been probably watching for a while. You haven't hit that button, but I promise that if you hit that button, I'll bring you value. I'll help you win as a life insurance agent. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care and cheers. Tuning in the channel. If you have not yet subscribed to, just randomly, go ahead and just hit the subscribe button. It's just something that I want to hit for the January 2026 is that you've been probably watching for a while. You haven't hit that button, but I promise that if you hit that button, I'll bring you value. I'll help you win as a life insurance agent. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care and cheers.